This rogue swings across the battlefield, crawls along the ceiling, and poisons everything it touches.
And later on, it can flat out paralyze your enemies. It's D&D's answer to a certain friendly neighborhood web slinger. Legally distinct, of course.
The version that you would get if you make this online on the D&D Beyond website is the 5.5e version. So that's what we'll cover today.
But there's also still a free version up online on Mage Hand Press, the original 5e one, and it plays pretty differently.
So if you're trying to decide which one you're going to run, stick around for that at the end. First, let's go ahead and break down the current version. Pull up a seat around the fire, and let's get into it. So, Mage Hand Press came out a little while ago with Valda's Spire of Secrets, and they just recently released the update to it, bringing everything up to speed with the 5.5e 2024 rules. They also added some additional subclasses. One that we're going to cover today, which is especially interesting, is the Arachnoid Stalker for Rogue. That's a fancy way to say it's basically Spider-Man.
Basically. Legally distinct, but basically.
Legally distinct web slinger. The way they describe it in their book is this. It says, a life-changing event, such as being cursed by a drider or being bitten by a dangerously transmuted arachnid, has imbued you with the abilities of a spider. This transformation may have left you physically changed. You might have extra eyes or limbs. You might have mandibles, or you might look completely unchanged. Either way, whatever the side effects, you can now produce deadly poison and ropes of silken web from your palms, and even scale walls with your fingertips. Look, we'll just say up front, essentially this is wish fulfillment. If you want to be able to play Spider-Man in D&D, this is the subclass for you.
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, though.
Hey man,
Sorry,
you tell us in the comments which one is best. I'm a fan of Tom Holland, but I actually, this might be a hot take, I think Andrew Garfield is actually the best Spider-Man. That's just me. I realize that's a personal preference thing. I know.
That is
sorry.
a hot take.
I know. But then he did
I thought we were going to have some
Boom.
hot takes with the class, but...
I'm just a fan of Andrew Garfield.
Ugh.
So,
Boy, all right.
That said, let's talk about how it works, and then we'll let you know our take on whether this is worth playing and some of the nuances around that. So we start at level 3. You get 2 key things. First of all, you get webbing. And this works pretty much the way you would imagine it would work if Spider-Man was in D&D. You get the ability to pull yourself, which just means you can, anything within 30 feet, you can pull yourself in that direction. You can go up, down, left, right, pretty straightforward. But significantly, you don't provoke opportunity attacks when you do this. So if you're in close range and you use your webbing to pull yourself away, you can get away for free, which is pretty cool. You can also manipulate objects, which lets you do things like pull something to you, close a door, snatch something small. And then you could also create a rope, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a web rope 60 feet long, anchored to something that you choose. And then lastly, you can use the web spell, which basically lets you create a sticky area that's 5 feet in diameter. So maybe you want to put a bunch of webs in a doorway to prevent things from coming through. So some interesting utility. I don't know, is there anything about that that stands out to you, especially Boots?
I would say that this is really the core to the subclass. Like, this is the subclass. Level 3 really is everything. You're not really going to add any more Spider-Man ability. There are a few things you'll add that are kind of additional Spider-Man abilities, but overall, this is the core mechanics of the Spider-Man. So right. You're really web slinging, friendly neighborhood, arachnid, humanoid. That's really all of it is right here. I will argue level 3 to have the web spell for free. 2 uses of it is very powerful. Because low-level bosses you'll be fighting, if you can restrain them in the webbing, and if you get them restrained, then every time someone attacks them, it's at advantage, and it's very powerful because you're giving your entire team advantage for the duration of them being restrained. It's a very powerful early game ability, highly underrated.
Yeah, certainly a lot of fun. At level 3, you also get what they call Venomous Strike, which means that you deal, whenever you could deal sneak attack damage, you can exchange it for 2d8s of poison damage instead. So there are a lot of things that are resistant to poison damage, but if they're not, that's a little bit of a boost. At low levels, that's not a huge difference. At higher levels, that'll add up. So, you know, it's not nothing, but it's also not great game breaking.
Not nothing, but it's also, I'm gonna say it's a moot point, honestly. Like, you're just essentially just changing damage types, and as powerful as that is early game, late game, I would argue it falls off quickly, unfortunately.
Level 9, you get wall crawling, which basically just means that now you can climb on walls. It's exactly what it sounds like. You get climb speed equal to your normal speed. You can hide on ceilings, which is pretty fun. It gives you this additional thing where if you're on the ceiling, you can take the hide action. And then you also get spider climb, which means that you can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces while leaving your hands free. So if you're on the ceiling and you want to fire your crossbow, you can do that. I would say that is a lot of fun. If you really want the fullest version of Spider-Man, going up to level 9 may be worth it for this ability. I don't know. Is there anything else about that really stands out to you? I feel like wall crawling is fairly self-explanatory. It's pretty much what sounds like what you get.
And I don't wanna take too many hot takes right out the gate. I'm sure we'll get into them at the end and kind of dig more into it as a whole. But yeah, I mean, it's very self-explanatory. You're climbing walls.
Yep.
You have climb speed.
Yeah. At level 13, you get Spider Sense. And at least in 5.5, the way it describes this is when you make a saving throw and take damage, you could take a reaction to use your uncanny dodge, having the damage you take rounding down. This, tell me if I'm wrong, Boots, this feels kind of like nothing because uncanny dodge could pretty much already do this, right?
So most DMs, every DM I've ever played with, and in my own games, uncanny dodge, again, this is 2014 rules. Uncanny dodge, if someone used fireball, they can use their reactions uncanny dodge to remove damage. Most DMs already run it that way. So mechanically, though, in 2024, this does differentiate. Like, this is giving you more because you wouldn't, based on those rules, be able to use uncanny dodge on fireball. Whereas in this instance, you can. But that's specifically 2024. Now, when it comes down to it as a whole, I think the entire ability is pretty much a moot point because, again, I don't know any DMs who already rule it as you can't already use uncanny dodge to reduce damage from a fireball. So it's one of those situations where it is a cool ability if you're a rules lawyer.
Yeah.
But in 99% of your games, I don't think it's ever going to come up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Given the fact that most DMs don't make that distinction, this feels pretty useless. Spidey Sense could have been honestly as simple as saying you get advantage on saving throws instead of, there's different things they could have done. The way it's written, I'd say this is a little underwhelming. But nevertheless, we move on. At level 17, then you get Paralytic Venom, which means that as a cunning strike option, you can use 4d6 so that when you deal poison damage with your venomous strike, the target must succeed on a constitution saving throw or have the paralyzed condition until the end of your next turn. That does seem pretty strong. I don't know what you think. That seems like something that is pretty rewarding. Overpowered does feel like the right word.
I am someone who does not like the stun ability, and the paralyze ability is essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
You are taking a game that is meant to be played, and you're saying you don't get to play the game today.
Yeah.
Because again, if this creature has enough health to sustain multiple rounds of attacks from you, you can essentially perma-stun the enemy.
Yeah.
So the issue there is, as well as when something is paralyzed, everything crits automatically if it hits. Which means you have a barbarian on your team at level 17. They're going to have one heck of a brutal critical. And that's anything that hits it. So even if this creature survives that paralyzed condition on the first round, you can just paralyze them again next round. It prevents the players and the DM from playing the game. And I'm really tired of a lot of these overpowered high level abilities that don't contribute to the game, they just take away from it. And this is one of
Yeah.
them, arguably. And it might be a hot take. People might like that, but I'm a huge proprietor of I'm here to play the game, not just stun lock the boss and cheese it into destroying it in a couple rounds.
Yeah.
Why are we even playing the game?
So that said, we're looking at this. If you were going to play this class, are there any nuances to how you would approach building it?
So a big thing for me that I would run with this class is, again, you're playing it for nostalgia purposes. You're playing it to be Spider-Man. There's a lot of flaws in this class, and there's a lot of things that you can do to make this subclass without actually taking any, like this subclass. You could take races that already have a spider climb and a web option. Like there are things you can do to literally build this class without taking it.
Right.
But if just for argument's sake, we're taking it for nostalgia's sake, we love Spider-Man, let's be Spider-Man. If I was going to build this, one of the big things that I would arguably do as a rogue is I would focus in on being a ranged rogue. Get a short bow, get a long bow, get a crossbow, whatever. Your bread and butter is going to be long ranged attacks because you can get up high, you can climb, you can get on ceilings, utilize the space and utilize the option and the maneuverability around the battlefield as you're fighting. So yes, highly recommend maintaining this character as a ranged style fighter. You know, let's say get rid of Spidey Sense because again, it's useless. So you're level 9. You could take a spellcaster and multi-class and then get polymorph and then just climb up really high and then fall on the enemy, crushing them. Great option. Another thing you could do, which takes a little less effort and you don't have to have as many levels in the spellcaster, is you could take the fighter option and go with, say, the arcane archer. You have a ranged multi-classed character and you get multi-attack, which is fantastic.
That's a great
But to take it a step further, right? To take it a step further, since you have 11 levels to work with, you could multi-class again. Now we're getting crazy. Multi-class again, and you can get certain abilities that like mold earth or mold stone. These things, if you're on a ceiling, why fall on them when you can just make the ceiling fall on them?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. It's probably going to deal way more damage, and you're not going to take damage from falling on them. So there's a lot of things you can work with this subclass, but my hottest take is if you aren't a hardcore Spider-Man fan, you are not going to have fun playing this class. Compared to other rogues in Dungeons & Dragons, this is one of the weakest. You get really a whole lot of nothing until 17, and then at level 17, you're broken. So why play?
I would agree. I think you could play this to level 3 and be done. If you really want, play it to level 9 and get the wall crawling. Totally fine. Even if you go to level 9, I agree. Almost for sure, just go ahead and multi-class after that. Whether you do something like, I'm thinking about College of Whispers Bard because that's what you're playing in our current campaign. And I'm thinking about all the fun things that you could do with that as a rogue Bard combo. But to your point, the arcane fighter or even a handful of other things could be really fun as a multi-class combo. So if you really just want to be able to do the web slinging and the climbing and then multi-class that into something with a little bit more utility and fun, go for it. Otherwise, this might be something you'd want to pass on. Is it fun to be able to do those things? Totally. And if that's something you want to do, I say, especially if you're doing something like a one-shot, that's great. If this is going to be a long campaign,
one shot, have fun with it.
Maybe avoid it. Now, I do want to just briefly touch on a little bit of some of the differences that you would see between this and the original 2014 version. So if you're playing 2014 rules and you're using the free version that you can access on the Mage Hand Press website, I'm just going to read through this real quick. We don't need to get really into it, but just so that you've heard it and you know that there are these differences, you'll see this. If you look at the 2014 version, this is what you'll find. The web spell is an at-will, unlimited thing that you can get starting at level 13 as part of what's called the Web Walker. So now in 2024, you get it earlier, but it's rationed. In 2014, you can do it as much as you want. You just get it a little bit later. Pretty crazy. So that's actually kind of a huge difference, and it's a big deal. So that's worth noting. Level 13, you also don't get in the 2014 version, they also didn't have the Spidey sense, which honestly is great because it's kind of a useless spell anyway. 2014, the web swing had a 60-foot range, but it did provoke opportunity attacks. So that's a difference. Whether that trade-off is something that you are happy about or unhappy about is up to you. I feel like 30 feet, but not provoking opportunity attacks is pretty strong, but doesn't really make sense. So I actually like the 2014 version better. It makes sense that you would still provoke opportunity attacks, but maybe be able to go further. The ceiling hiding element in 2014, it worked without any cover. In 2024, it requires that you be at least lightly obscured. And then lastly, in 2014, you could only use the Paralytic Venom once per short or long rest, but it paralyzed them for a full minute. Now it's repeatable as part of your Cunning Strike option, but you can do it, and it only lasts until your next turn, but you can do it multiple times. So I would actually overall say I like the 2020. Sorry, I like the 2014 version
2014 is
quite a bit more.
Stronger.
It's stronger. It feels more useful. I think they were trying to balance it better in 2024, but I would say they nerfed it a little bit too hard to the point that now there's really no point to use this class past level 9.
Yeah.
I would say short takeaway. It's fun. If you want to play Spider-Man, go for it. 2014 might actually be a better option for you if you can. If either way, especially if you're going to 2024, strongly consider, if you're doing a long-term campaign, multi-class after level 9, maybe even as early as level 3. Any other quick summary from you, Boots?
No. If you're doing a one-shot, run with it. Who cares? It's a one-shot. Have fun with it. It doesn't matter. If you love Spider-Man, highly recommend play it. Be Spider-Man. Play out that dream. Highly support it. Yeah. And if you're going to play it in a long campaign and you're a serious Dungeons & Dragons player, if you really want to play it, just go to level 3, multi-class after, get into something else. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very long campaign.
Most importantly, I'm saying Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man. You're saying what? Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire.
All right. If you disagree with either of us, if we've got a Tom Holland fan out there, I'm all for Tom Holland. I'm not against him. But let us know.
I'm old, so I like Tobey Maguire, all right? From our friendly neighborhood D&D group to your home, we appreciate all of you being here, hanging out, learning about the new not Spider-Man class that is now available on D&D Beyond to play. Keep in mind there's the free 2014 rules that you can get. Highly recommend playing that version if you are going to play any of them. But so glad you're here. Let us know what you thought about the class in the comments. Who your favorite Spider-Man is in the comments, because there are wrong answers like Garfield. But if you want to see more of our content, we have plenty more videos on our page that are going to be anything from new subclasses to just random D&D advice when it comes to new players, new DMs, and things of that nature, but also some fun videos here and there as well. We do also record a Real Play podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Central Time, and we do post them here on YouTube. So if you can't make it every Sunday, hey, they're right here. Check them out. Plus, they're edited, so it's a little higher quality, which everyone always appreciates. Thank you so much for joining us around the fire. We hope to see you again soon.